My name is Angela Reed and I just turned 32. Every year my family forgot my birthday while throwing lavish parties for my sister. This year I decided not to remind anyone. Instead, I used the $8 million reward no one knew about to buy myself a mountain retreat home in Aspen. The notifications went wild when I uploaded a photo next to my new property with the caption, "Special child celebrates alone." Again. Their furious comments started flooding in, accusing me of showing off and demanding explanations about where the money came from. I did it on purpose, and this time no one can forget that day. Before diving deeper into how I turned their neglect into my ultimate stand without a direct confrontation, I want to know what time you're listening and which city you're in. I'm thrilled to see how far my story spreads, so drop a comment below. Growing up in a gated Denver suburb felt like living in a glossy postcard where every house had a 3-car garage and neighbors competed over who threw the best 4th of July barbecue. Our sprawling 5-bedroom home was the envy of the block, all glass and stone with a backyard pool we rarely used. From the outside we were the picture-perfect family, but inside it was clear who the star was. My younger sister, 2 years my junior, the golden child everyone adored. My father, a real estate developer who'd made his fortune flipping properties during the tech boom, never missed a chance to praise my sister's potential. When she won her first spelling bee at 7, he threw a catered dinner for 50 guests complete with a custom cake shaped like a dictionary. I remember standing in the corner clutching my own award from the science fair, a solar panel model I'd spent weeks building, hoping he'd notice. He didn't. He just ruffled my hair and said, "Keep it up, kid," before turning back to the guests fawning over my sister. My mother, a former event planner who traded her career for charity boards, was even worse. She turned our living room into a shrine for my sister's achievements, shelves lined with her trophies, framed photos from dance recitals, even a newspaper clipping from when she won a local art contest. My straight A report cards and math Olympiad medals, they were stuffed in a kitchen drawer found years later when I was looking for spare batteries. The pattern started early. On my 11th birthday, I woke up expecting pancakes or at least a card. Instead, I found my parents packing suitcases for my sister's regional dance competition. They were so focused on her costume fittings that the day passed without a single mention of me turning 11. At dinner, my mother glanced at the calendar, gasped, and said, "Oh, honey, your birthday slipped our minds. We've been swamped with the competition prep." My father promised a belated celebration, but it never happened. They were too busy posting photos of my sister's silver medal online. It wasn't just that one year. My 15th birthday was overshadowed by a weekend trip to tour a prestigious art academy for my sister. My parents decided I'd stay with my grandmother because, as my mother put it, this is a big opportunity for her future. I spent the day eating oatmeal cookies and watching old sitcoms while my social media feed filled with their proud posts about the academy visit. My 18th birthday collided with my sister's high school valedictorian speech. They threw her a backyard gala with string lights and a live quartet. I got a text from my mother the next day. "So sorry, sweetie, yesterday was a whirlwind." My best friend since kindergarten was the only one who noticed the pattern. She'd been at our house enough to see how my parents lit up for my sister's every move while I faded into the background. During sleepovers, she'd whisper, "It's not fair, Angela. You're just as amazing." Her words were a lifeline, but they couldn't erase the sting of being invisible in my own home. Family gatherings made it worse. Aunts, uncles, and cousins would swarm my sister asking about her latest art project or college applications. I'd sit at the far end of the table, picking at my food, answering the occasional question about school with a forced smile. Once at a Thanksgiving dinner, an uncle asked about my robotics club win. Before I could answer, my mother steered the conversation back to my sister's upcoming gallery showcase. The room toasted her potential while I stared at my plate. By the time I was 16, the contrast was undeniable. I started keeping a notebook, jotting down every forgotten birthday, every overlooked achievement. It wasn't about self-pity, it was about proof. Each entry fueled a quiet resolve deep inside me, a spark that said, one day I'd make them see me. Not by begging for their attention, but by building something they couldn't ignore. That spark grew stronger with every slight, every missed moment. It wasn't just about being forgotten anymore, it was about proving I was enough. By 16, the weight of being invisible in my own family had settled deep in my chest. I couldn't keep pretending it didn't hurt. My notebook of forgotten birthdays and overlooked achievements was filling up each entry, a reminder that I needed to speak up. I spent weeks rehearsing what to say, choosing words that wouldn't sound petty or jealous. One evening when my sister was at a friend's house, I found my parents in the living room, Dad reading a business magazine, Mom scrolling through her phone planning another event for my sister's art portfolio. Mom, Dad, can we talk? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. Mom glanced up briefly, nodding, while Dad lowered his magazine with a sigh, already looking impatient. I took a deep breath and started. I feel like you treat me and my sister differently, like my accomplishments don't matter as much. You forget my birthdays, my awards, but everything she does gets a spotlight. My hands shook, but I kept going. It's been years, and it hurts. Mom set her phone down, her expression more annoyed than concerned. Angela, that's not true. We're proud of both our daughters, but your sister's at a critical stage. Her art could open doors to top schools. Dad chimed in, his tone dismissive. You're too sensitive. She's just more outgoing, so her achievements are more visible. You keep things to yourself. How are we supposed to celebrate what we don't see? I pushed back, my voice cracking. I've told you about my robotics wins, my straight A's. You don't even show up to my events, but you'll fly across the state for her exhibitions. Mom sighed like I was exhausting her. Sweetie, we're busy people. Your time will come. You're still young. Dad nodded, already flipping his magazine open again. Let's not make a big deal out of this. We love you both the same. The conversation ended there with empty promises that nothing changed. If anything, pointing out the unfairness made them more defensive, like I was accusing them of being bad parents. My notebook entries grew longer, detailing every slight, every missed moment. It wasn't just about keeping score, it was about holding on to my truth when they wouldn't see it. I knew then I had to get out. College was my ticket. I applied to the University of Colorado in Boulder, drawn to its engineering program and the distance from Denver just far enough to breathe, but not so far they'd accuse me of running away. When acceptance letters came, I shared the news at dinner. Mom smiled absently, saying, "That's nice, Angela," before turning to discuss my sister's upcoming gallery show. Dad didn't even look up from his steak. That night, I added another entry to my notebook: accepted to Boulder. They didn't care. Moving to Boulder at 18 felt like shedding a heavy coat. I threw myself into my computer science classes, spending late nights in the lab coding projects that made me feel alive. My professors noticed my drive, and one even recommended me for a competitive internship in my sophomore year. I called home to share the news, hoping maybe this time they'd be proud. Dad answered, sounding distracted. An internship. That's great, kid, but did you hear your sister got into that art program in New York? It's a big deal. I swallowed the lump in my throat and hung up. Birthdays in college were no better. My 19th came and went with a single text from Mom sent 2 days late. Sorry, honey, meant to call for your birthday. Been busy helping your sister settle in. My 20th coincided with my sister's first solo art exhibition. They flew to New York for it, posting glowing updates online while I celebrated alone with a cupcake from the campus cafeteria. Patricia, my best friend from back home, was the only one who remembered calling to sing an off-key happy birthday that made me laugh and cry at once. By my junior year, I landed a part-time job at a small tech startup in Boulder, writing code for a machine learning app. The work was grueling, but it gave me purpose. I stopped calling home as often, tired of the same dismissive responses. When I did, the conversations always circled back to my sister, her latest art award, her gallery connections, her bright future. My achievements, like winning a coding hackathon or earning a scholarship, barely registered. Dad once said, tech's a solid field, but it's not like art. Your sister's building a legacy. Patricia became my anchor. We'd video chat late at night, her voice steady as she listened to my frustrations. They're blind, Angela, she'd say. You're killing it, and they don't deserve to know how amazing you are. Her words kept me going, but the hurt didn't fade. I kept adding to my notebook, documenting every ignored milestone, every casual slight. It was my way of holding on to my worth when my family wouldn't see it. By the time I graduated with honors at 22, I'd stopped expecting anything from them. I didn't invite them to my ceremony, knowing they'd probably be busy with my sister's latest showcase anyway. Instead, I moved to Salt Lake City for a full-time role at a growing tech firm, diving into a world where my skills were valued. My first big project, a data analytics tool, earned me praise from my team lead, but I didn't tell my parents. Why bother when they'd just compare it to my sister's next big thing? The distance helped, but the pattern continued. My 23rd birthday passed with a belated group text from Mom: "Happy birthday, Angela. Sorry, we were at your sister's gallery opening yesterday." Each forgotten day added fuel to a plan forming in my mind, not just to succeed, but to make them see what they'd ignored. I wasn't begging for their attention anymore. I was building something bigger, something undeniable, and I'd do it on my own terms. After graduating, I poured everything into my career in Salt Lake City. The tech firm I joined was fast-paced, working on cutting-edge AI tools for healthcare. I started as a junior developer, debugging code and learning from senior engineers. My first year, I stayed late most nights teaching myself advanced machine learning techniques while my peers headed to happy hours. It wasn't about outshining anyone, it was about proving to myself I could be more than the overlooked daughter. By 2020, at 27, I'd earned a reputation for solving problems others couldn't. My team lead put me on a project to develop an AI diagnostic tool for hospitals. I spent months refining algorithms, testing datasets, and presenting updates to skeptical clients. When the tool launched, successfully increasing hospital efficiency by 20%, my name started circulating in the office. My colleague Tiffany, a sharp-witted data scientist who'd become a close ally, pulled me aside after a meeting. "You're killing it, Angela. Why don't you brag about this stuff?" I shrugged, thinking of my family's dismissive reactions. "Not everyone cares," I said. She raised an eyebrow but didn't push. That project caught the eye of Andrew Hayes, the company's CTO and a tech veteran known for spotting talent. He called me into his office one afternoon, his walls lined with patents and industry awards. "Angela, your work on the diagnostic tool was exceptional," he said, leaning back in his chair. "You've got a knack for seeing what others miss. Don't let anyone make you think otherwise." His words hit hard, not just praise, but a reminder to value myself. He became my mentor, pushing me to take on bigger challenges and live for my own goals, not anyone else's approval. Over the next 2 years, I climbed the ranks, leading a small team on a new AI startup project within the company. We built a platform that predicted patient outcomes using real-time data, a game changer for emergency rooms. I worked weekends, skipped vacations, and rewrote code until it was perfect. Tiffany was my sounding board, always ready to brainstorm solutions or call out my perfectionism with a laugh. "You're building an empire, Angela," she'd say over coffee. "Own it." Her confidence in me felt like a shield against the doubts my family had planted. In 2023, a major healthcare conglomerate approached us to buy the startup. I led the negotiations, presenting our platform's impact to their board. When they offered a $100 million deal, I knew my share would be life-changing. After taxes and team splits, my bonus came to $8 million, more money than I'd ever imagined. I sat in my apartment staring at the contract, heart racing. My first instinct was to call my parents to finally hear them say they were proud. But then I remembered Dad's voice from years ago. "Tech's fine, but your sister's art is a legacy." I set the phone down. I didn't tell my family about the deal. Not Mom, not Dad, not my sister. They didn't deserve to know, not after years of brushing off my wins. Instead, I confided in Tiffany over drinks at a quiet bar. $8 million, she whispered, eyes wide. "Angela, this is your moment. What's the plan?" I leaned back, a smile creeping in. "Something big. Something they can't ignore." She grinned, sensing my resolve. "Let's make it epic. How about a social media flex post, something that screams, 'You've made it,' without saying a word to them?" We spent weeks brainstorming. Tiffany suggested buying a property, a statement of success that would hit home. I'd always dreamed of a mountain retreat, a place to escape and feel free. She pulled up listings for Aspen, showing me sprawling estates with views of snow-capped peaks. "Imagine posting a photo in front of your own mansion," she said. "Caption it something bold, like you're throwing their favoritism back in their faces." I loved the idea. Not just a house, but a way to show I didn't need their validation. Andrew weighed in during one of our mentorship meetings. "You've built this success on your own terms," he said. "Whatever you do next, make it for you, not to prove anything to anyone else." His advice stuck, but I couldn't shake the urge to make my family see what they'd missed. Tiffany and I refined the plan. I'd buy a property, wait for my next birthday, the day they'd inevitably forget, and post a photo that would spark a reaction. No direct confrontation, just a move so bold they'd have to face their neglect. By early 2024, I was ready. I contacted a real estate agent in Aspen and narrowed down a list of properties. One stood out, a modern 6-bedroom estate with floor-to-ceiling windows and a private trail to the mountains. It was listed at $7.5 million, within my budget after the bonus. I kept it secret, even from Patricia, wanting to surprise her later with the full story. Every step, reviewing contracts, meeting lenders, felt like claiming a piece of my worth. My notebook, now a thick record of years of being sidelined, sat on my desk as a reminder of why I was doing this. The closer my 32nd birthday got, the clearer my plan became. I wouldn't remind my family, wouldn't drop hints. I'd let them forget, just like always. Then I'd post the photo, a single image of me in front of my new Aspen home, caption to cut deep. Tiffany helped craft it, special child celebrates alone. Again. It was sharp, deliberate, a mirror to their favoritism. The stage was set and I was ready to make them see me not as the forgotten daughter, but as someone who'd built an empire they couldn't dismiss. My 32nd birthday arrived on a crisp spring morning in Salt Lake City. I woke up to sunlight streaming through my apartment windows, but no messages from my family. Not a single text, call, or email. Just like every year they'd forgotten. I didn't remind them, didn't drop hints in our group chat buzzing with plans for my sister's latest art gallery opening. Instead, I took the day off work, a quiet rebellion, and finalized the biggest move of my life. I'd spent weeks working with an Aspen real estate agent, signing papers for the 6-bedroom mountain estate I'd chosen. The deal closed 2 days before my birthday, funded by my $8 million bonus from the startup sale. The house was stunning, sleek lines, a stone fireplace, and a deck overlooking the Rockies. I drove up that morning, keys in hand, heart pounding with a mix of excitement and defiance. Standing in the empty living room, I felt a surge of power. This was mine, built without their approval or attention. Back in Salt Lake City that afternoon, I sat with my laptop ready to execute the plan Tiffany and I had crafted. I chose a photo from the morning, a shot of me standing on the estate's deck, the mountains glowing behind me. The caption was deliberate, sharp, special child celebrates alone. Again. I hesitated for a moment, my thumb hovering over the post button. This wasn't just a photo, it was a statement, a mirror held up to years of neglect. I hit post on Instagram, set my phone down, and waited. The notifications started within minutes. Friends liked and commented, gushing over the house, asking if it was mine. Then came my family. My sister's comment popped up first. Whose house is this? Stop showing off. Mom followed, Angela, where are you? Call me now. Dad's was blunt, this is irresponsible. Where did you get money for this? Their words dripped with disbelief, as if I couldn't possibly have achieved something this big. Each comment fueled my resolve, proof they'd taken the bait. Patricia, my best friend, was ready. She'd agreed to back me up online, a witness to my stand. She liked my post and commented, "Looks like Angela's thriving, happy birthday, queen." Her words sparked more reactions, friends piling on with birthday wishes, drowning out my family's outrage. My sister posted again, more heated, "You're making a scene on purpose. This isn't about your birthday." I didn't respond. Let them stew, I thought. By evening, my phone lit up with missed calls, 3 from Mom, 2 from Dad, even 1 from my sister. I ignored them all, savoring the silence. Mom sent a text, "Angela, we need to talk. This house thing is out of hand. Dinner tomorrow at our place, 7 sharp. No excuses." I stared at the message, a grim smile forming. They thought they could summon me, demand answers, like I was still the invisible daughter. Not this time. I met Tiffany at a coffee shop the next morning to prepare. She scrolled through the comments, laughing at my family's panic. "They're freaking out because you didn't ask their permission," she said, sipping her latte. "This is perfect. You've got them rattled." I nodded, flipping through my notebook, now a thick record of every forgotten birthday, every slight. "I'm ready," I told her. "Tomorrow I'm laying it all out. No holding back." Tiffany raised her cup in a mock toast. To teaching them a lesson they won't forget. I spent the rest of the day planning my words, rehearsing how I'd confront them. My notebook was my evidence, pages filled with dates and details, birthdays, ignored achievements, dismissed years of being sidelined. I wasn't going to beg for their attention anymore. This dinner would be my stage, not theirs. I thought back to Andrew's advice, live for yourself, but this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about showing them what they'd lost by choosing my sister over me. The closer the dinner got, the calmer I felt. I wasn't nervous, not like when I was 16, pleading for them to see me. This time, I had proof of my worth, the house, the bonus, the life I'd built. My family's furious comments showed they couldn't ignore me now. They'd walked right into the trap I'd set, exposing their neglect for the world to see. Tomorrow I'd face them head-on, armed with years of truth and a resolve they couldn't break. The dinner was set for 7 at my parents' Denver home, a place I hadn't visited in months. I pulled into the driveway behind my sister's sleek convertible, my stomach tight but my resolve steady. I rang the doorbell instead of using my key, a small act to remind myself I wasn't just their daughter anymore. Mom opened the door, her face a forced smile. "Angela, good you're here. Come in." The air inside was heavy, the dining room table set with her best china, like this was a formal event and not a reckoning. Dad stood by the bar cart pouring a drink, his jaw tight. My sister sat scrolling her phone, barely glancing up. The tension was palpable, but no one spoke until we sat down with plates of roasted chicken and asparagus. Dad broke the silence, his voice clipped. So Angela cared to explain that Instagram post. Whose house is that, and where did you get the money? I sipped my water, meeting his eyes. It's mine. I bought it with my own money, 7.5 million, paid with a bonus from work. My sister's fork hit her plate. 7.5 million. That's ridiculous. You're just flaunting to make us look bad. Mom's eyes widened, her voice sharp. Angela, that's a huge decision. Why didn't you tell us? I leaned back, pulling my notebook from my bag, its worn pages a testament to years of hurt. Why would I? You've never cared about my wins. Let me remind you. I opened the notebook, reading entries aloud. May 2010, my 11th birthday, forgotten because of my sister's dance competition. May 2014, my 15th, sent to grandma's for her art academy tour. May 2017, my 18th, texted a day late because of her valedictorian party. My voice stayed steady each date, a knife. I've got pages of these going back to when I was 10. Every year you prioritized her. My awards, my internships, my graduation, none of it mattered. Dad's face reddened. That's unfair. We've supported both our daughters. You're blowing this out of proportion. Mom jumped in, her tone defensive. Your sister's career is at a critical point. Art is competitive, and we had to focus on her opportunities. My sister shifted, finally speaking. Angela, I didn't know it was that bad. But you never said anything. And this house stunt. It's like you're trying to embarrass us. I laughed, sharp and bitter. Embarrass you? I posted one photo of my own home, bought with my own money, and you're the ones who lost it online. That's not my fault, it's yours for never seeing me. I flipped to a recent page. Last year, my 23rd birthday, belated text because of her gallery opening. You didn't even call, but her art show got a catered gala with 100 guests. Tell me, when was the last time you celebrated me? Mom's eyes filled with tears, but her words were weak. We didn't mean to make you feel less important. We thought you were fine on your own. Dad cut in, his lawyer voice firm. Buying a mansion without telling us is reckless. You should have consulted us. I shook my head. Consult you so you could tell me it's not as important as her next exhibit. I'm done waiting for you to care. My sister tried again, softer. I'm sorry, Angela. I didn't realize how much we hurt you. Can we fix this? For a moment, I saw guilt in her eyes, but it wasn't enough. You knew, I said. You saw the parties, the attention, and you took it. I've spent years hoping you'd notice me. I'm not hoping anymore. I closed my notebook, standing. I'm done with this family. You don't get to claim my success now that it's too big to ignore. Dad stood too, his voice rising. You're being dramatic. We've done everything for our kids. I didn't flinch. You did everything for her. I did this for myself. I grabbed my coat, walking to the door. Mom called after me, her voice breaking. Angela, please, we can do better. I turned, my words final. You had 32 years. I'm not giving you 33. Driving away, I felt lighter than I ever had. I blocked their numbers that night, every text and call cut off. Back in Salt Lake City, I focused on my new life. Patricia came to visit the Aspen house, bringing wine and a housewarming gift, a set of candles that filled the living room with a warm glow. Tiffany joined us for a weekend, toasting to my freedom on the deck under a starry sky. They were my chosen family, the ones who saw me when my blood family didn't. I started hosting friends at the estate, turning it into a sanctuary of laughter and connection. Work kept thriving. My team at the tech firm landed another major project, and I felt more confident than ever. The pain of my family's neglect didn't vanish, but it no longer defined me. I'd built a life that was mine, unshackled from their expectations. Looking back, I learned that your worth isn't tied to anyone's approval, not even your family's. I used to think if I just tried harder, they'd see me, but waiting for that only kept me small. Cutting them out wasn't easy, but it was freedom. If you're in a family that overlooks, you know this, you don't need their validation to shine. Recognize the signs of neglect, early choose people who lift you up and build a life that's yours. That's the lesson I carry, and I hope it resonates with you. Thank you for listening to my story. If it hit home, please subscribe and share your own experiences in the comments. Let's build a community that celebrates everyone's worth.